How's it going, everybody? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Hopefully you guys are having a good day, and if you're not, well, hopefully this video helps out a little bit. The Toronto Maple Leafs are winning lots of games, man. They've won 7 games in a row, and that's really impressive. It's a lot of fun for us Leaf fans, and maybe it took a slap shot into an empty net to get this team going. I'm just joking. That's probably not what happened. But if you guys are new here and you enjoy the content, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Join the squad. I'd love to have you guys here. Lots of Leafs content and lots of trade talk we're getting into, especially in this video. We're going to talk a little bit about some new reports for the Maple Leafs and the trade front. So if you guys are ready for that, let's go. So I first want to take you guys to the standings in this video. And as you can see at the time of recording, the Maple Leafs have 74 points. They're sitting in a playoff spot. They're sitting in a top 3 spot in the Atlantic Division. Of course, you have the Boston Bruins in first, you have the Florida Panthers in second, and you have our Maple Leafs in third place. There's a lot of great teams this year. As you guys can see, the wild card race is pretty good too, but if we're looking at the divisions in themselves, the Toronto Maple Leafs are pushing themselves away a little bit here, and Boston and Florida have pretty well gotten themselves into a really good spot here to where they're pushing themselves away from everybody. And the Leafs have played 3 less games than the Tampa Bay Lightning. So even if the Leafs win a couple of those games and, Tampa puts up a couple more points, the Leafs are still going to be pushing themselves away from where the Tampa Bay Lightning are currently. And that's a really good sign for this team. The Maple Leafs at the beginning and even, 10 to 15 games ago were looking like a middle of the pack team. They were looking like a team that would be on the fringe of making the playoffs or missing and it blowing up in our faces. So this is a good sign that the Maple Leafs are finally back to winning hockey games, and they've actually won 7 games in a row, and that's the most that they've won in the Austin Matthews era. Like, that was mind-blowing to me. How could the Maple Leafs have lost so many games and won so many games, and they haven't strung together like a huge winning streak like they have now? And 7 games isn't even that long for a lot of teams, but they've actually put together some really good hockey over a long stretch of time, and we're hoping that they continue to do that. But now that begs the question, and it gets into the rumor side of this video, what are the Leafs going to do come the trade deadline? And I believe it's like March 8th or something like that, but we're coming up to that. It's in a few weeks from now. It's going to be madness. Like, we're going to be getting a lot of movement. We're going to be getting a lot of teams trying to build their team up and make themselves better. But the Maple Leafs have to also be in on that train. They have to be in on that wagon. They need to be there trying to update their blue line. And as you guys can see with this team right now, there's a few moves that I've made to get us to this cap space here, but their forward group has been playing really well. What is Nick Robertson still going to be with this team? Are we still going to have Calle Yarncroke when he comes back from injury? Are they going to put him back in here? What are they going to do with the goaltending situation? This blue line, there's a bunch of question marks, but it takes us to what Elliotte Friedman was talking about on Saturday headlines. Now, basically, what he was talking about is that the focus for the Maple Leafs is still trying to find the spot for a right shot defenseman on this team. That has been their look for most of the season, and that continues. Now, the Maple Leafs currently have 2 right shot defensemen in their regular lineup, TJ Brodie and Timothy Liljegren. That's definitely not the 2 right shot defensemen, because TJ Brodie shoots left. But offseason acquisition John Klingberg is a right shot defenseman, but the 31-year-old has been on LTIR since November. So whoever wrote this, TJ Brodie shoots left, not right. But Liljegren shoots right, and of course we have guys like Connor Timmins, but he's been injured as well. But the Maple Leafs focus is definitely looking for that right-handed shot defenseman, which we've all been speculating. But what also kind of puts away some of the rumor talk is the fact that Noah Hanifin is a left-handed shot, and a lot of the defensemen out there that the Maple Leafs could be going after are also left-handed shots. But there are a select few guys out there that are right-handed shot that the Leafs could be going after. And again, just because Elliotte Friedman is saying that the Maple Leafs are looking for a right-handed shot doesn't mean they'll completely ignore the left-hand shot market, because there are quite a few teams that are probably, going to be throwing those guys out there on the market. But over time, the right-handed shot defensemen have been a little bit more expensive on the open market, and we'll have to see if the Leafs are willing to pay that price. But if we're going by just price, I'm thinking Noah Hanifin is the guy that's going to fetch the most on the open market. But then you're going to see right-handed shots like Tanev and maybe even a guy like Alexandre Carrier or a Sean Walker or even a Colton Parayko. We'll have to see where their price goes. But Tanev is probably the guy that's going to fetch a lot. Maybe some of the Seattle right-handed shot defensemen. Of course, they've got some really big, bruising, tough defensemen on that team. So where does that leave the Leafs, and how much money will they have to spend? Because again, if we go back to their cap friendly, and I was messing around with this a little bit earlier, this is currently how the team is kind of constructed. Now again, I have Calle Yarncrook posted up right here, and you're going to see on LTIR a couple names added. Noah Gregor and Connor Timmins. Now the reason I put them on LTIR is because on cap friendly, the cap space gets removed if you put them here or if you make a trade. So just for the sake of quickness, I've put them here. Now Klingberg is done for the year, Murray is done for the year, and unfortunately Muzzin's career is likely over. So all of these guys, the three here are injured, and these two here are guys that I can see getting moved or waived. Now the reason why I could see Gregor potentially being traded for like future considerations or something like that is because it will clear up a little bit of a roster space, but also a little bit of cap space for the Leafs. Because now with this extra forward, if they feel like, okay, we should bury somebody in the minors, maybe you put Ryan Reeves down there to fetch yourself a little bit of money. Or maybe it comes down to the fact that the Maple Leafs have to make a tough decision on Mark Giordano. I think they don't want to do that, but you're also seeing Lagesson here. He more than likely stays in the minors, especially when they go into the playoffs. So that would open up a spot there. But again, the cap space and everything like that gets moved around when you're working with cap friendly. So that's why I wanted to put Timmins and Gregor on LTIR. But this is just a general look at what the team could look like going into the trade deadline. And the biggest need is the blue line. You can't be going into the playoffs without getting another guy that can play big, significant minutes for a guy like Morgan Rielly. And if you want Rielly to play those heavy minutes and you want him to be the horse on the back end, you have to get him a partner on the right side that can do those things for him. So I know I've been leaving it up to you guys, and I'm going to be making another video maybe even tomorrow or a couple days from now talking about the guys that I think the Maple Leafs could genuinely go after that could make sense for them and the trade pieces it would take. Because if the Leafs keep winning and they keep putting up these points and looking like the way they have and scoring at the way they have, they gotta make something happen. Brad Treliving has to like reward this team with another big pickup, and I think he ultimately will. It's just whether or not they're going to have the assets that some teams are looking for, because a lot of the required picks and prospects, they're looking for first and second round picks plus. The Leafs don't have any second round picks to dangle in front of teams right now. So it's either they give up multiple firsts, which they definitely don't want to do, or they have to give bundles of picks and prospects, which again, they more than likely don't want to give up too much because they're going to empty the cupboards. But the way that the Maple Leafs are playing right now, the depth, having Tavares on that third line with the young guys, they look better than ever. So if there's any time to really go out there and get Rielly a guy that can play with him, you got to do it now and hopefully extend him if his contract is up. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Again, leave your suggestions down below for videos. Subscribe if you're new. I would genuinely appreciate it. Lots of Leafs talk going into the deadline, and of course post deadline we'll talk about what they did and didn't do. We've got some time still here until the deadline. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. So like I said, like, subscribe, join the squad. I love and appreciate you guys as always, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.